Before we continue the story, remember this. The people who are ignored the most sometimes carry the greatest destiny. Let's see what happens to Jessica tonight.
The village was quiet that night. The drums from the banquet echoed in the distance. Jessica sat alone in the dust. She felt humiliated and rejected. Her tears became her only companion. She cried like never before, wishing the world would end so her misery could end, so she could finally meet her parents. Jessica wailed. Sweat soaked her veil. Then a voice spoke.
Soft. Familiar.
Why do you bow your head for something heaven has touched? The voice came from behind. Jessica looked up. A beautiful woman stood just behind her.
Calm.
Radiant, watching her. Get up, child, she said. Jessica trembled. Who are you? She whispered. The woman stepped closer. I am your mother, she said gently. She looked Jessica in the eye. Why waste your time crying when your destiny is about to be fulfilled? Jessica looked at her in confusion. The woman continued. You must go now, my child. Time is no longer on your side. Go and take what is rightfully yours. Jessica shook her head. I have nothing presentable to wear. My stepmother tore the dress I prepared for myself. This is all I have. I cannot go to the banquet like this. I will never be allowed inside the palace hall looking like this. The woman smiled. On your way, you will see yourself, who you were always meant to be. Go now, my child. And just like the evening wind, the woman disappeared from sight. Jessica stayed still for a moment. Then she stood. Step by step, she walked forward. Her old cloth began to mend.
Thread be thread.
It became deep indigo. Beautiful. Beads appeared around her waist. Red clay, ivory, bronze. Brass bangles wrapped her wrists. Beaded anklets jingled softly as she walked. Her veil slipped from her shoulders. Her bright caramel skin and white vitiligo patterns glowed under the moonlight. Not hidden, not softened.
Shining.
For the first time, Jessica could not believe her eyes. She looked at herself in awe and amazement and smiled with relief. She did not lower her gaze. She walked toward the palace. The doors loomed ahead, and all around, the night seemed to hold its breath. Whispers from the banquet floated faintly. Her skin, 2 colors. She had never shown herself like this before. The world was seeing her for who she truly was, a beauty that had never been seen anywhere in the village. Her heart raced. Her steps were steady. Inside the palace, she walked into the wide open space in the middle, where everyone could see her. The doors opened, and silence fell. Every maiden turned to look at her. Whispers rose. Her skin, she shines like the moon. The prince stood from his seat. He could not look away. He walked toward her slowly. May I have this dance? He asked.
May I have this
Jessica
dance?
placed her hand in his. They moved across the floor like wind and flame. The firelight reflected on her skin. Whose daughter are you? He asked quietly. Jessica held his gaze. That information would only ruin this moment, my prince, she said. The music continued, but fear returned to her heart. She remembered her stepmother's warning to not attend the banquet. Then she stepped back. You must not look for me, she whispered. I must go now. She took another step backwards, and before he could answer, she disappeared into the night. The prince ran after her. You did not tell me your name, he shouted, but she was gone like she was never there. A single strand of waist beads fell on the palace steps. The prince picked it up. The beads reflected 2 colors, just like her. His voice was low, determined. Find her. The prince stood still for a moment, holding the strand of waist beads in his hand. The beads reflected 2 colors under the firelight, just like her skin. He closed his fist around them.
Find her!
Find her, he repeated. The royal guards bowed their heads. At once, your highness. They left the palace quickly and rode out into the village. But the night was already deep. Many houses had gone quiet. The guards searched the paths leading away from the palace. They asked the few villagers still awake, "Did you see a maiden leaving the palace?" Some people shook their heads. Others said they saw someone running into the dark road that led toward the village huts. But no one knew exactly who she was. Inside the palace, the maidens were still whispering among themselves. Who was she? I have never seen her before. Her skin, it was unlike anything I have ever seen. Annabelle stood among them, confused. She remembered seeing the mysterious girl dance with the prince. Something about her seemed strangely familiar, but she could not explain why. Meanwhile, Jessica ran through the narrow village path. Her heart was beating fast. She did not stop running until the palace lights were far behind her. When she finally slowed down, she looked around. The village was quiet again. Only the sound of insects filled the night. She touched the beads around her waist. Then she looked down at her clothes. The indigo wrapper was still there. The bangles were still on her wrists. Everything was real. She slowly walked back toward the compound where she lived. When she reached the gate, she stopped. The house was dark. Susanna and Annabelle had not returned yet. Jessica quickly entered and went to her small room. She sat down and tried to calm her breathing. Everything that had happened that night felt like a dream. She touched her skin. The vitiligo patterns were still glowing softly under the moonlight. She remembered the way the entire hall had gone silent when she walked in. She remembered the way the prince looked at her. But she also remembered the whispers, the stares. Fear slowly crept back into her heart. What if they find out it was me? She whispered. Not long after, she heard voices outside the compound. Susanna and Annabelle had returned from the banquet. They entered the house loudly. Annabelle's voice was excited. Mother, did you see the girl the prince danced with? Susanna scoffed.
Mother, did you see the
How
girl
could
the
I
prince
not see
danced
her?
with? How
The
could I
entire
not? The
hall
entire hall
stopped
stopped
because of her.
She was so mysterious.
Annabelle continued. I have never seen skin like that before. Jessica froze inside her room. Her hands tightened around her wrapper. Annabelle continued speaking. The prince could not take his eyes off her.
The
Susanna's
prince could
tone
not take his
changed
eyes
slightly.
off her.
Yes,
I noticed
I
that.
noticed that. Then Annabelle sighed. If only I knew who she was. Susanna
If
replied
only I knew
coldly.
who she was.
Whoever she is,
Whoever she is, she must be from another
village. I have never seen her here before. Jessica slowly sat down on the floor. Her secret was safe for now. But outside the palace, the search had already begun. The royal guards were moving from house to house, asking questions, looking for the mysterious girl with the two-colored skin. Back at the palace, the prince remained awake long after everyone had left. He stood near the palace window, looking out at the dark village. The strand of beads was still in his hand. He turned it slowly between his fingers. Two colors. Just like her. He spoke quietly to himself. She is here.
She's
somewhere
here.
in this village.
Somewhere in this
And this
village.
time, he was determined to find her.
And that was the night everything began to change. But the prince is now searching for the mysterious girl. What will happen when he finds her? We'll find out in part 3.
Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next part.